All right, Ben. So we just got done with figuring out what your number is, and it came back that you needed about $1 million in coverage, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, still completely bought in on that $1 million in coverage.
hmm
All right. So what do you know about the five different types of life insurance that are out there?
I know there's like term and whole life.
Yeah. So there's two overarching types of insurance. One is term insurance. That's for temporary problems that you have that will most likely go away sometime in the future. However, there are also permanent problems or permanent uh, areas that you want to cover for the rest of your life, and that's really what's covered by the permanent side.
Got it.
So there's actually five different types of life insurance out there today. The first one you hit on, it's term insurance. So what's great about term insurance is it's actually really cheap compared to the permanent types of solutions, and that kind of makes sense, right? It's the difference of leasing a house versus buying a house, right?
Got it.
Yeah. So what term insurance is really great for is covering different temporary problems that you know are going to be there for 10, 15, 20 years, but after that you really don't need that full amount of coverage. So the things that you can think about with that are education, just in case something happens to you while the kiddos are growing up, making sure that that's covered, or knowing that, hey, I've got a 30-year mortgage, I want to make sure that that mortgage is paid down should anything should happen to me. And that's what term insurance is really good for, is those temporary needs. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So really, the way that it works is you're paying for a certain benefit amount, you're renting it. There's a fixed premium that you have to pay either monthly or quarterly or annually. Now, if you miss one of those payments, the policy does lapse. So there is that. What questions do you have over the term idea of insurance?
That makes sense.
Perfect. So that's, and then we'll kind of move on to the different types of permanent insurance. So way back in the day, this is probably similar to what your grandparents actually had, was whole life. And as the insurance industry goes, we're really creative when we come up with names. It's designed to last your whole life, actually. And the big difference with permanent policies, or specifically, is inside of it, similar to when you buy a home, you start to build up equity inside of that home. So there's a cash value component inside of it. So one day, if you decide that, hey, I need access to some money from my insurance policy where these premiums are going, or you know what, I don't want this anymore, you actually get to pull money out of it.
Got it.
The difference between the four other types of insurance is how that cash value grows. What happens inside of the traditional whole life policy is you get a low guarantee of how it grows, say 2, 3, 4%, and then you have dividends that also get added on to that. Now, those are non-guaranteed. You don't know if you're going to get a dividend in a year, but you may get one.
Got it.
So these are good for people that really, they don't want a lot of cash value growth, and they want to know that they're paying a fixed premium. Now, whole life, because of these different guarantees you're getting, is the most expensive type of permanent insurance out there.
Got it.
Do you have any questions over that?
Nope.
All right. So what people started to realize was, you know what, sometimes I can't make a monthly premium payment. Has your transmission ever gone out on you?
A couple times.
A couple times? How was that?
Terrible. AC is actually out right now. So
Oh, no.
Gotta go drop a couple thousand on that. So I'm ready to
Not
go.
in this heat.
Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun in the summer.
No, so as the insurance industry started to get a little bit smarter, they started to come up with different ways where they know life happens. And this is designed for something to be your whole life. Your whole life isn't going to be consistent. So in these types of different policies, you're actually able to turn on and off premium payments
Okay.
should you need to,
Got
which is a big benefit. Whereas the whole life and the term policies, if you don't pay that premium, the benefit is gone. Similar, if you miss a lease payment, they kick you outside of it.
Got it.
So the first type that they came out with was universal life. Now this came out in the 70s and 80s, and they fixed it to interest rates. Do you know why they would do that?
They used to be pretty high, right?
Yeah, they were up at 20, almost 30% in some cases.
Oh wow.
So what was great for those, that cash value, it grew based upon interest rates. Now today, what are you getting in your checking account?
I make a couple cents a year, I think, something like that.
Yeah, they're at historic lows. We haven't seen them this low ever. So really, that this type of policy, what it's good for today is people that want small cash value growth as well, and just knowing that if they pay the minimum amount, they're going to keep on getting this benefit.
Got it.
So then, once interest rates started to fall, they're like, "Hey, I want this money doing more for me, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So they came up with what's called indexed universal life, and the difference with how this cash value grows is there's a floor, so you're never actually going to lose money in any given year. However, they cap the upside to give you that sort of protection.
Got it.
Got any questions over that?
Nope.
Yeah. So this is better for this type of policy is better for people that want some sort of protection. They're somewhat conservative in the way that they typically invest. They tie it to an index. So say the S&P 500, the Dow, Nasdaq, all those fancy
Yeah.
big letter words you see on Money Talk with Jim Cramer or whatever.
Yeah.
They fix it to that. Now the last type is what we call variable universal life insurance. Now, what's really good about this is you have about 85 different investment options inside of it, so you can build a full-on portfolio where you're invested in small cap, large cap, international stocks, more for the savvy investor. Now, this fluctuates just the same as your 401k or personal brokerage accounts do.
Got it.
So that one's the variable universal life is really good for people that are somewhat investment savvy and like to take on a little bit more risk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that we covered a lot. What questions do you have over all of those?
I don't think I have any. Trevor did a great job.
Okay, so which two stood out the most to you?
Term and the last one.
Term and the last one? What made them stand out?
Least expensive and sounds like the biggest upside.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Perfect. So what we can do is the last part, remind me again, what do you say the monthly amounts that you'd be willing to contribute to these are?
If we could keep it under 200, that would be great.
Under 200? Great. So what my job is from here is I'm going to go back, play with the numbers, and see how we can make this best work for that $1 million coverage.
Got it. Sounds good.